Hey Pre-Calc, today we're going to be talking about long division, which is something you learned way back in elementary school. But as you learned last year, you can also use this for polynomials. It's useful to help factor polynomials that you can't factor using substitution. And it's also helpful just for solving polynomials. So to divide polynomials, we can use an algorithm similar to that of long division. With integers. So long division with integers is what you learned way back in elementary school. You learned about like remainders and stuff like that. So let's just go by example since you've done this before. Factor 6x cubed minus 25x plus 18x. 25x squared plus 18x plus 9. So factor completely if x minus 3 is a factor. So first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this accounts for every term. So we have x cubed, x squared, x constant. If you're missing anything, you need to put in a 0x. So we do have a term for each variable. So then what we do is we take x minus 3, and we see how many times does that go into this polynomial. So 6x cubed minus 25x squared plus 18x plus 9. And the main focus is you want to look at the x and go, okay, how many times does x go into 6x cubed? So if we multiply it by a 6x squared, and then you line it up with the corresponding values, so 6x squared, and then we multiply. So 6x squared times x is 6x cubed. And then we also multiply it by this -3, so 6x squared times -3 is -18x squared. Now this is the part that a lot of students forget to do. You need to put this in parentheses, subtract. So when we do that, these are going to cancel. And we do -25 minus -18. That is the next thing students mess up. They accidentally just do -25 minus 18. But if it's -25 minus -18, that becomes plus 18. So this is -7x squared. Then, because this is two terms, we need to have a second term. So we bring this down. And we have plus 18x here. And we see, okay, how many times does x go into -7x squared? So it'll be just -7x. -7x times -3 is positive 21x. And then we put it in parentheses and subtract. So when we subtract, these cancel, and 18 minus 21x will be -3x. And now we bring down the 9. And what times x will give me -3x? And -3 times -3 is +9. subtract, and everything cancels. We're left with 0. Okay, and now we're not done. So this said factor completely, and we know that x minus 3 is a factor. Because it said that, we need to get a remainder of 1. So right off the bat, we know we're in a good spot. If we didn't get a remainder of 0, then we know that we messed up because it told us in the example that x minus 3 is a factor. Alright, so we're not done because it said factor completely. So we know that x minus 3 is a factor, as well as 6x squared minus 7x minus 3, right? So we multiply these two together, we get this polynomial. So now, the long division is helpful because now we factored this a little bit more, and this is easier to factor because it's a quadratic. I'm going to factor it using the grouping technique. So if I'm going to do some scrap work over here, what multiplies to a times c and adds to b? So 6 times negative 3, and our b value is negative 7. So negative 9 and positive 2? Yep. Okay, so bring down my 6x squared. Then I replace my minus 7x with negative 9x and a positive 2x. Bring down that minus 3. And then keep factoring. So greatest common factor of 6x squared and negative 9x squared is 3x. And I'm left with 2x minus 3. Greatest common factor here is just 1, so it's plus 1. And then factor out my group. So I got 2x minus 3, and 3x plus 1. And now that this is completely factored, we are done. And this is our final answer. So there's a bunch of different variations of this problem. Instead of saying x minus 3, I could say 3 is a 0, and so then you'd have to change it to x minus 3. Yeah. Alright, let's do a different kind of example. Let's just say divide. Example. Divide 9x cubed minus x minus 3 by 3x plus 2. And they don't always have to be linear. It could be another polynomial or quadratic, which is still a polynomial. Anyways, so 3x plus 2 goes into this. Now, remember what I said earlier, so 9x cubed. We do not have an x squared, so you should put in a placeholder for it. So 0x squared minus x minus 3. And now, continue. So what times 3x give us 9x cubed? 3x squared. 3x squared times 2 is 6x squared. These cancel. 0 minus 6x squared is negative 6x squared. Bring down the minus x. What multiplies by 3x to get negative 6x squared? Negative 2x. Negative 2x times 3x is negative 6x squared. Negative 2x times 2 is negative 4x. Subtract. These cancel. Negative 1 minus negative 4, negative 1 plus 4, so 3x. Bring down the minus 3. What multiplies by 3x to get 3x? 1. Subtract. These cancel, and negative 3 plus 2 is negative 5. All right, so how do we write our final answer? It's actually quite simple. So this becomes 3x squared minus 2x plus 1, so that's part of the answer. But we have a remainder, so to include that, it's minus 5 over 3x plus 2, right? Think of it as negative 5 divided by that, because that is what it is. And this is our final answer. So you shouldn't write remainder negative 5, you should rewrite it as a reciprocal function.